can speak now to Julie Lenarz, who's from the Human Security Centre. Hi to you, Julie.
Hi, Simon.
Well, first of all, what about this idea of bypassing the UN? Is that wise or advisable?
Yes, absolutely, because we've seen many times in the past that Russia or China have vetoed resolutions that were actually absolutely necessary. And I think if the Prime Minister can get a vote from the Commons, then this is, legitimacy enough to engage in airstrikes in Syria, given the circumstances.
There are many who say that that would only add fuel to the fire, and the reason, for example, and Islamic State have said this today, the reason that they brought down the Russian plane was because Russia had begun military action airstrikes against them. Wouldn't that just put Britain in the firing line further?
No, well, first of all, I don't think it's a wise idea to buy into this narrative put forward by the Islamic State. It's a political statement. They do know that, this is a logic that can potentially work against us. We have to be absolutely clear here. The reason why these people are at war with us is not only because of what we do, but who we are. They hate everything about us, our way of life, everything we stand for, and we have to reject this narrative that somewhat has foreign policies to blame for all of this. And
You don't believe it's got anything to do with it, that the adventures in Iraq, Afghanistan, have not acted as a recruiting sergeant in any way, shape or form?
Well, of course, they have contributed to it. I mean, it would be absurd to deny that some of the mistakes made in the post-war period after 2003 didn't make it easier for IS to sort of gain a large fellowship, for instance, in Iraq. But that doesn't mean that we should subject our foreign policy interests to an ideology of clerical fascism. I don't believe that's a wise idea.
Okay, and the track record in removing dictators is that we don't leave a stable country behind, is it really? You know, Saddam went and there was chaos, admittedly because of a terrorist insurgency. Gaddafi went and Libya is in chaos. We need a real plan here, don't we?
Yes, we do. I mean, that's more a problem in Syria, really, than it is in Iraq, because in Iraq we have the Kurds in the north who are quite capable of taking care of their affairs, and we have the Iraqi government in the south, so we do have partners on the ground in Iraq that we can work with. Syria is a different thing, because obviously, with the exception of again, the north of the country where the Kurds are based, we have a lack of reliable partners on the ground. We still our policy that Bashar al-Assad needs to be removed. I do believe that's the right policy to have.
Yeah.
This man is responsible for hundreds of thousands of dead people, and he obviously has no legitimacy whatsoever anymore. And that is the real challenge in Syria. Who's going to fill the void when Bashar al-Assad is gone?
But do you think that's something we have to deal with further down the line? And are you saying that really the priority now is to get rid of ISIS and we can stomach Assad staying in power for a bit longer whilst we think about that later on, but let's just maybe with a Russian alliance here, an unholy alliance with Russia, let's just get rid of ISIS first. Is that your thoughts?
Well, I think it has to be both together. Just because we are targeting ISIS now doesn't mean we have to stop looking for a solution. But obviously tackling ISIS needs to take priority. We've seen they have escalated their war against us. If you compare the attacks in Paris in January to the attacks now, you can see that, in January they came for the cartoonists, they came for the Jews, and now they came for everyone. So as long as this goes on, and actually the more ISIS feels under pressure in Iraq and in Syria, the more dangerous they will become, because they have to shift their attention away from bad news at home to good news abroad. And good news abroad for them means dead Europeans or dead Americans or anyone else who stands in the way of their death cult.
Julie, great to talk to you. Thanks for being on the programme. That's Julie Lenarz from the Human Security Centre. It's BBC Radio Merseyside. Diane coming up next.
There ain't no good.